So, title of this video, how I would like to describe this video is how to change your frequency, which can mean many things to many different people. So, I mean, if you're highly spiritual like I am, it's changing your frequency, your vibration, your state of being. And if you don't understand just yet what a frequency is, or your vibration, or your state of being, pretty much it is just how to start changing your life from a maybe struggling state, difficult mental state, or maybe poor environment, or you're in a bad relationship. That even if you're in a good situation or you have a pretty decent mental state, there's always room to grow. So I was trying to think of what topic video I wanted to do today, and I think the universe just handed it to me because I had the urge to go and change my pin tack board next to my bed. And as I was feeling about what I wanted to keep on there and take down, this topic came to me because there was a lot I felt like I needed to take off, because not because I don't need it anymore, because I definitely do. I feel like I've mastered that and I'm ready for some new like inspiration and guidance on that board. And I just kind of saw and I was like, dang, this is perfect to start my video today. So this is where we're gonna start. So this might be a little lengthy video, like 20 minutes, but so grab some popcorn, some chocolate, some juice, some water, definitely some water, because we need to stay hydrated. That is one of the ways to change your life. Because these notes right here, like I showed you, they actually are where I started. I feel like I've been on a spiritual journey my whole life since I was a child. I'm gonna get into that in another video. Or like, what do they call it? Draw my life. I'll go into like the depth. I'm talking my journey of kind of coming into the world as an adult, a young adult, and being very confused, very lost, not having much guidance. I was very alone in the journey that I was starting. It was started before I even really knew it was starting. I was still in a very unaware state of like, I knew I didn't belong where I was, but it was just me trying to survive and get out of it. And, you know, one day it just snapped and I started putting it onto paper. And that's where I actually did start to see a lot of my life change, was when I started utilizing the tools around me, words, action, just doing all that. So really excited to share all this with you, because anytime really anyone asks me for advice, or anything that just anything that revolves around problem solving, down to the most minute issue to the biggest case scenario, I always go back to the basics. So let's get started. So first off, this is actually my favorite chart of all times, because to really get started, I think this is one of the first things I made. My chart of things that I can control. At the time, I had a really hard time conquering my anxiety. I was in a lot of bad situations. I had a lot of unhealthy relationships, super emotional all the time. I wanted to control everything around me, and I was very scared and very upset. And, there was a lot of things not going my way, and I felt really helpless. I got onto my Pinterest app and the internet, and I started writing down things that were really helpful to me, or things that spoke to me about my situation. And the first thing I wrote was things that I can't control, because at the time, this chart was very difficult for me. I had to wake up every morning and I had to read it every day. And I actually read it every day for the past 4 years, actually. So, this isn't an overnight thing. I think it's just rewiring your brain, starting with simple stuff. So things that you can control. How serious you take your life. How serious do you take yourself? Do you look at yourself and do you have self-respect? Feel like you're capable of achieving your goals? You look at yourself and you just feel grounded and like confident in who you are. And when you go out there, when other people don't take you as seriously, you know how to like stand your ground, and you take you seriously, and that can change the dynamic of many situations, conversations, manifestations that you're trying to achieve. Is really taking yourself seriously. And I don't mean to the point where you can't have fun or you can't, relax. That is another topic I would like to get into sometime. Huge problem with relaxing in the past. And even to this day, I have a little bit of problem with that, because I am an overachiever. when we're talking about how seriously you take your life, I'm not talking about like not kicking your shoes off and laying back and laughing and being a doofus now and then, you know, or every day, be a doofus every day, be a doofus. I'm not really that serious of a person to where I feel like I have to be like super serious all the time, like I can't take a hit. Like when you wake up in the morning, do you have ambitions? Do you have routine? Do you go and try to achieve and receive your desires? Do you wake up and just own it? You can translate into so many different things, but how seriously you take your life. The second thing was who you hang out with. Who I hang out with affects my mood, how I feel about my life. It affects what I do with my life. How much time I spend with them, it bleeds onto what I spend my time doing, how they view their life, their perspective, are they an optimist, a pessimist? And you know, it's okay to have friends that are different than you, and it's okay most definitely to you know, be able to get along with all sorts of people. But when it comes to who you spend your time with, I mean, depending on where you are in your journey, you will see that there's some people that you cannot give as much of your time to if you want to feel a certain way, or if you want to achieve certain things. For example, me, I always wanted to like go places in life. Like I've always wanted to travel. I always wanted to have healthy relationships. I wanted healing from family trauma, from, you know, my past. I wanted a better life. I wanted to have really loyal relationships and like strong friendships, and I wanted to have, you know, close family bonds with the people that I can have that with. So for example, I want all these things, right? I cannot have that if I'm around people that don't take themselves seriously. They don't want to heal. They want to continue to self-sabotage themselves. They enable complaining, just self-abuse and self-neglect. They don't want anything. They're content with where they're at. And it's like, okay, you know, there's no rules to life to where if you want to create your reality, how you want to create it is yours to own. Like you can create your reality however you would like. When you're coming to creating your reality, you have to look at the people that are with you, because you're kind of like, okay, these people are content in their self-misery and their self-sabotage, and I'm not. So if I want to have that healing, if I want to have that change in my life, I can't keep hanging out with people that don't want that for themselves, because actually they don't want that for me either. Because if they're content, they're like, okay, what are you doing, you know? So just to touch on that a little bit, these are all like whole video topics. You guys think that there's one that you wanted me to go into more a detailed discussion about, do like a how-to, or just anything that you feel like I've been short on or you would like more depth in, I can make into a whole video. So you can just leave in the comment if you feel like you would like me to make a more in-depth video. Okay, number 3, your effort. So how much effort you put into yourself. That could be, you know, your appearance, that could be your work, that could be your friendships, your relationships, anything. Oh wait, backtrack. I'm sorry. I'm gonna backtrack for a second. I just want to reaffirm, you are in control of who you hang out with. You don't have to hang out with losers. Like if you, and I don't mean to use that word because I'm not a name caller, but there are some people that are really content with just letting life get the best of them and losing every time. They're content with that, and I'm happy for them. If that's what makes them happy, it makes me happy, but that doesn't make me happy. So, you know, you get to choose who you hang out with. There's that. I just wanted to reassure, you can choose. Honestly, if you can't choose or you feel like you don't want to make that decision right away, you can also just start investing more into yourself. And eventually those people, honestly, if they're not right for you, they'll fall off. You know, they're just going to release themselves from your existence, and it'll happen really naturally. So, you know, but you do control that. You don't have to give time to anyone you don't want to. And I don't care if that's family. I don't care if that's friends, a spouse, like whatever person rubs you the wrong way and you just don't want to give your time to, you don't have to. So there's that. 3, your effort. How much effort do you put into your life? Do you sit down and do you make lists? Do you look at your weaknesses and do you back yourself with things that make you feel strength? Like, I didn't feel like I had control, so I gave myself things that helped guide myself to being in control. So that is effort. I put the effort into myself because I knew I deserved better. So your effort really has to do with a lot of like your worthiness and how much you feel like you deserve. So there we go. How personally you take things is a huge thing. Let's just break it down simple right now. If the people around you, and I wish I understood this a little bit more when I was younger, because I could have used it more when I was younger, but I guess I wouldn't be who I am now if I didn't. So let's just say I've had family members project their feelings onto me and bully me and make me feel less, right? I can either take that personal, or I can understand that that was coming from how they viewed themselves and their reality of things, and that had nothing to do with who I actually am in my reality. My reality had nothing to do with that, you know? They just saw you as someone that they can push that on so they can let it out of their body. And it's like, that's not my fault. Same with friends. I've had friends in the past that always had something negative to say to me, and sometimes about me. And it's like, well, I could sit here and be like, I suck because they think I suck, or I could think their life sucks actually, and that has nothing to do with my life. So, and I've even given a lot of these friends tips like this, like, hey, are you really negative about this? Would you like to maybe try this or this? And it's like, really, people cannot receive what they're not ready to understand. So yeah, that really goes down to how personally you take things. So when people try to make you feel bad, or even if they aren't even trying, what if they just are that and they just like exude this certain behavior or mood or tone, or they have a certain kind of like vocabulary towards you? Just remember that people do what they know. And that is another huge thing that at the beginning of my super conscious journey out of a rut, I had to tell myself, people do what they know. So I'm not offended. I get offended sometimes because I am human, but I would say that compared to how I used to be like 4 years ago plus, like I'm really hard to offend, because I just know that that is a mirror of their reality, and they want me to feel how they feel because they don't want to take ownership for their feelings. So there's that. What you believe, that is really good that we just said the last one. What you believe to be true is what you can control. Let's just take it down to spirituality. Like, you can believe that we're here for no reason, or we could believe that we are here for a reason. And you can invest in your beliefs and see what comes from it. So for me, I do believe everything happens for a reason. I believe I'm supported divinely by the universe, and I believe in divine timing. And I do believe that I am always at the right place at the right time, even if I don't feel like it feels right, or if I don't feel like it feels good sometimes. I believe that I'm where I need to be to get where I want to be. So it's like that belief to me controlling those beliefs, it's like that's what I believe, and that set me free to something bigger than me that helped me achieve the person that I wanted to be, you know? So that is what makes me comfortable, you know? And it's like, I will always believe in God and the universe, you know, that is my beliefs. And I'm not here to force any sort of beliefs on anyone, but it could also go down to limiting beliefs just as concrete as like money beliefs. Like, money is the root of all evil. All men are bad. All these things that I hear a lot of women and a lot of men say, or like men are like, all women are crazy and this and that. Well, what you believe will come up in your reality. I say I want a yellow Mustang, and all I'm thinking about is yellow Mustangs. I'm gonna see a lot of yellow Mustangs. I'll see other cars, but I'll really notice when I see a yellow Mustang, because that's what I'm thinking about. So when it comes down to what you believe, you really are gonna notice what you believe. So you might as well believe in something beautiful, because that's what you're gonna be looking at a lot. So, you know, me getting my beliefs in check and experiment, you know, like I really dove deep into my belief system and my spirituality, and it's a continuous journey to this day. I still have more to go. So there'll definitely be something we'll be talking about eventually. So your priorities. Let's just say during the time where this journey was started, my priorities were all about other people. My priorities was to wake up and live for someone else and make sure that they were happy and make sure that they had money, make sure all these things, you know, make sure that I didn't make anyone mad, make sure that, you know, I did what I needed to do to prove to other people I was worthy. Those are my priorities, and I was miserable. When we take it back to what I can control, my priorities, you know, you can make your priorities whatever you want them to be. It's like, okay, like right now, my priorities are, you know, my monthly goals, my daily goals, and making sure that I can put that into a time management, you know, spreadsheet of how can I do this with ease, and how can I achieve what I want to achieve. And you know, like your priorities, what's most important to you. And sometimes what you think is most important to you is not what you're actually proving to yourself to be most important through the action you take on your priorities. So you can be waking up and thinking, of course money is important, of course this is important, of course my kids are important, this or that. But at the end of the day, is your action supporting the priorities? And I guess that goes back to your effort. So these all kind of really support each other when you're thinking about what you can control. You can control one or two, but at the end of the day, to really have harmony with all these things, you really need to feed them all. It's like if your priorities are waking up and taking care of your body and your mind and your spirituality, feeding yourself, taking care of your pets, taking care of the house, do it. Support that. You know, give yourself support. And that is something that's not even on the list, I feel like, but your support, you control how much you support yourself. So, and I guess the support goes to how seriously you take your life. So give yourself support. When you think that you're giving yourself too much support, that's a lie, because you can never support yourself too much. Support is firm. And when you support, you support. It's like if there's space between you and supporting yourself, you can close the gap more. Support yourself. It will show through your priorities, and it'll actually improve many areas of your life. So how kind you are. This one has been a roller coaster with me, because I'm a Gemini. We have a little bit of a temper. It's even if we're not talking horoscopes, myself, I have a little bit of a temper sometimes, and it's been something I've actively worked on, you know, for a long time, and it only comes out with certain people in certain situations. But I feel like nowadays, present moment, I now get more angry when it's correct to be angry, and I am better about communicating my feelings. But since I knew I had a lot to grow with this when I wrote this down, because I was giving everyone that made me upset or brought out a trigger in me, I was giving them so much energy through being angry or hateful or mean or trying to like hurt them. You know, it was just taking so much energy away from me and giving it to them, because I was so hurt. And, you know, I realized I can't control the situation that I'm in. I can't control how someone's hurting me or what they're doing to me, but I can control my reaction and what I let it do to me after it's done. I've been bullied at certain parts of my life quite a bit, and for the most part, I always stayed true to myself, but there was moments where I really lost it, and I was like, well, if you're gonna be a bully, I'm gonna be a bully. And me being there and done that, it doesn't work the way you think it works. And a lot of your energy could be wasted by just being mean or bitter. So at the end of the day, go back to how personally you take things, and realize that is their problem, and it doesn't have to be your problem, and take your power back and be kind. You can be like, okay, I love you anyways. I hope you have a good day. I'm sorry you feel that way. I'm sorry to hear that. You know, maybe focus on this. Have a never-ending amount and abundance of kind words, positivity. There's never enough kindness where you run out. There is not. It's like you can get tired and worn out of saying negative things. You could be like say so many negative things, and you just get exhausted, and you're just like, whew. But when it comes to being kind, I never really get tired of being kind, because I know that I did the right thing. I can sleep at night. You know, I feel like just saying kind things to other people, it's like hearing those things is refreshing even for yourself. Even if you're the one saying them, that's nice to hear. That's when people put you in a position where you could choose to be kind or non-kind. They probably need kindness the most. You know, you get home and you're tired and you're like, you know, I spread kindness today. You can control that. You know, and I'm not saying that there's not a time, because there is definitely a time to stand up for yourself. There definitely is a time to tell people that you're not playing and it hurts, what they're doing is not okay, and set your boundaries in situations where you've kind of read your cards out and you're like, okay, this one's not worth my energy. I'm just going to use kindness, and I'm going to, put a bridge over that. I'm going to put a bridge of kindness over that, and I'm going to allow myself to walk over it and never look back. But then there's certain times where, when it comes to your boundaries or your feelings or being honest, there is a time, but even then, using kindness to do so is very helpful, even if it's a little bit of aggressive kindness. I could do a video on that because I'm very good at being aggressively kind, and I don't think that it's not passive aggressive. I feel like it's like, I'm gonna tell you that I'm being serious, but I do really wholesomely hope that you take in consideration that this isn't okay, and that you can think about it. What you eat, that is something I need to pay a little bit more attention to right now, because it was winter and then I just went on vacation and I ate a lot of food, ate a lot of candy, things I shouldn't have ate. But when it comes to your emotional health, your physical health, your spiritual health, food has energy, gives you energy, it has power, it has water, it has the things that keep your body running, just like a car needs gas, just like your dog needs food, everything. What you feed your body is linked to how you feel as well. There's times that, I feel really good, and then I eat some food, and then I'm just like, I don't feel good anymore, and it's not, no one's even doing anything, I just don't feel good. So getting into that is something that I care about a lot, is what I eat. What you talk about. So this is a huge thing, and you know what, to this day, I have a little bit more to grow on with what I talk about, just because I do work in the semi-negative work environment, and I feel like I do get sucked into a little bit of a negative conversation now and again. It's almost kind of like what you eat, because when you speak words, words are life. You're speaking life, you're communicating with someone, you're connecting with someone, and when you talk about something good, you have a good conversation, you feel that lightness, that, oh my God, I feel good. I feel inspired, I feel wholesome, I feel relaxed. Think about how you feel, pay attention to how you feel when you're talking to someone about something good. Soak in how good you feel after or during. When you have a negative conversation, it's not wrong to have a negative conversation here and there, especially when it comes to venting. It's it could be normal and wholesome and innocent, but it's maybe you needed to vent or someone needed to vent, and there's nothing wrong with that. And think about how you feel after, and just take note of that. So when it comes to conversations that are less necessary, you can kind of feel after, you're like, I didn't like that. I don't like how I feel now, and I feel a little less better than I did before I had that conversation. Learn from the experience, and next time that kind of looks like it's creating itself in your environment or with the person you're talking to, you can kind of be quick to change the direction of the conversation or the topic, so you don't have to spare yourself that exhausting topic or energy, because that actually plays a big role in your day. It's just like a phone, you wake up and you only have so much energy, and that actually depends on how you take care of yourself, because some people have a lot of energy. You may have a lot, but if you spend it on dumb stuff all day, you're gonna have none. And sometimes you could do that pretty fast, and by midday you're just like, I'm done, time out, we're done, or depending on how you take care of yourself, you can go to bed and wake up with not that much energy. And you got to build that momentum and make sure that each time you go to bed, you're waking up with more energy for the next day. And you really can't afford to be giving that energy to some things that aren't exciting for you or good or feeding your spirit, your body, your mind, So pay attention to how you feel when you talk to certain people and what you talk about. And okay, so what you think about, that is going into kind of what you talk about. It's when you think about thought, I am the queen of this. I go to therapy and I talk about it, but I do get unwanted, unnecessary thoughts, I'm sure every person does. And sometimes it just sticks. When you hear that thought enough, your mood starts to go downhill. I've watched my mood change quicker than anybody's over a thought. And I'm not proud of that. It's just reality. It's an observation for me. Being honest about it and being I know and can feel a shift in myself when my, thoughts change, or I cling on to certain thoughts, or I have a thought train that's either productive or non-productive, and you really paying attention to your thoughts are like what you choose to think about. It's like maybe instead of thinking about everything that's happening in the world, although it is good to, be aware of what's happening in the world, give some of that energy back to yourself and think about what is happening in my world. What can I do today to make my world a better place? Because if your world's cool, that rubs off on other people, and that makes them want to make their world better. And when your world's better, your family's world's better, your pet's world's better, your friends' worlds are better, and that makes for a whole, what do they call it? Domino effect, spider web of goodness. Really taking control of your mind is one of the most important things in what you can control. Is you may not always be able to see it coming or control what exactly enters your mind, or you see, or what you see from or what you think about after you see something or you hear something, but you can choose to diffuse that before it conquers your mind and your heart. How open-minded you are. Suppressed worry isn't the problem. Yes, we should not suppress our emotions. We should not suppress things. We need to be better about surfacing and letting go so we can free our mind, body, and souls of those things that are so heavy. But the worst thing than that is stagnant emotions, stagnant fear, stagnant worry. It just sits there, And sometimes we just let that sit there. We have all these opinions and feelings about things happening around us, and I feel like when it's stagnating in your body and your mind, you're not really sitting here taking control of your reality or living in your reality. You're almost living in the state of the non-presence, whether that just be false negative. They could be true negative emotions, false negative emotions. Worrying about someone else. It's good to worry. Worry is a little healthy. Feeling those things, it's good to let them out and clear your mind so you are open to solutions and space for new things, for, health and wellness. You could be more accepting of what's happening in the realities around you if you accept that you can't control that, and let people create what they want to create in their reality, and you create what you want to create in your reality. No one is preventing you from creating what you want to create. There's people that will hold you back, but if they're holding you back, then you need to push them back. When you love someone, you want them to have everything they want. You want to support them. Be open-minded to the possibilities of what could happen to you as well as other people, and let other people create their realities even if you don't agree with it. Being open-minded doesn't mean being agreeable. It just means being open-minded to the sense of I don't know that person's story. I don't know where they came from. This might be the best that they've been doing ever. I'm not going to sit here and worry about someone else's reality when I have a whole reality, and I have the energy inside of me that's created worlds to create my world. So I'm going to focus on giving it to that rather than worrying about what someone else is doing. And that is kind of what creates open-mindedness for me. It's I may not understand or agree with everyone's lifestyle or their choices or what they're doing. As long as it's not hurting anyone and there's not a reason for me to step in, don't get it twisted. If there's a reason, it's a safety issue, or there's something that I can do to it calls me to help or fix or save someone. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about someone in your life, you don't agree with it. You have family members. It's stress from your surrounding people, everyday stress, coworker, this or that. You don't have to worry about them. You can just be open-minded to the sense of it is what it is. And then you can just go back to creating your reality. Because at the end of the day, depending on how you create your reality, those people might not even have access to you within a week, a month, 6 months, a year, 3 years, so it's really important just to keep supporting yourself and staying connected with those that love you supporting yourself and want to be a part of your supporting yourself, and you support them, and it's just a very trusting, interlocked circle. But if you don't feel that way, just open your mind to the stars and let the stress go, and let your open mind hone in on the things that you can create with your life. Lastly, your happiness. your happiness. You like, just like everything I'm saying, pretty much, let's look at it like this. All of this, controlling all of this can equal your happiness, right? But you can also just be happy without, you know, if you're just starting this, you don't have all these things yet, that's okay. You don't have to wait to have anything to be happy. You can just choose, like, okay, in this moment, I have a home, I have my plants, I have my books, I have my dogs, I have a safe space to speak to, I have the internet to connect, I have my phone to communicate and to create. They give me life, inspiration, energy, and be grateful for them. And I think gratuity really does create peace. Chase peace, not happiness. Happiness is an emotion, just like sadness comes and goes, anger comes and goes, like all these things come and go. Happiness comes and goes. You only have so many chemicals in your brain to feel that high before you come back down. When you create peace in your life, it's not very extreme, like up and down, up and down. It's like you're kind of going at this soothing level of like this, and you'll experience some happiness, and then you'll come down and you just maintain this peace. And sometimes you'll do a little dip, and then you go back, and then you go back up. It's an experience. So when you create that peace for yourself, I would say, to me, that's the definition of having happiness, is that's what I can control. I can control my peace, which in hand helps me control my happiness. So I hope I broke those down really well for you guys. I hope you guys found it useful, helpful, comforting, and inspiring to start your journey or continue your journey or start your new beginning. Sometimes starting a journey isn't starting the whole journey, it's just starting a new part of it. So I hope this helps nonetheless with any of those things. Like, I look at it every day, but sitting down and teaching someone else and breaking it down for them has been very refreshing and useful, inspiring for me, because I sometimes need to hear those things again, so I can therefore support myself on the journey that I started. So thank you guys for watching. If you don't mind hitting the thumbs up button and dropping a comment on what you liked or didn't like about this video. I love feedback, and that would be very helpful to me in deciding on what videos to make next and what I could do better. I'm still in the midst of getting this room organized. Things in here. I have this for a project, a mirror. I'm not really ashamed, I'll just show you. But eventually I'll have a more like nice setting. I mean, it is nice already, but it'll be a little bit more organized. So I have like, I could do background here one day and here one day. Until next time, I love you guys. Bye.